Hello everybody, this is Zell of Walm. Today, I will be talking about my theory on Nightmare from Five Nights at Freddy's 4, also known as Shadow Freddy. To start, we'll look at some simple facts. Well, when I say facts, I mean things I noticed. Or, well, I don't know, maybe they're facts. I don't care. Shut up! I don't know. Ah. Yeah. Now, please, do take note that some of these images were extremely hard to find due to the internet's lack of caring about Nightmare, and seeing as everything is just about Nightmare Freddy or Nightmare Fredbear. However, I did find some images, and really, they are really hard to find. Internet, please fix that. Internet, do it now. So, what we're going to look at first is the supposed bite of 87. I do not think that this is the bite of 87. I would have an image for this that would prove it, but unfortunately that image does not exist because the internet doesn't care about it. Ah. You'd think it'd be easy to find on the Five Nights at Freddy's wiki, or wiki, whatever, but unfortunately it is extremely slow. It'd be because Five Nights at Freddy's is so popular and everyone is on the site. Constantly. I mean all the time. Seriously. So, and I still couldn't find the goddamn image of Fredbear biting this little kid. Seriously. I could not. Maybe I will. Give me a second. Here we go. Finally! My god, that was extremely hard to find. I'm not kidding. It's as if the entire internet is still way behind. It still thinks that Nightmare Fredbear is the teaser image. No, that's Nightmare. We'll get to that in a second. My god, I have so many complaints about this, and I won't talk about it in this video, okay? It's time we just talk about my theory, okay? Okay, let's do this. As you can see, Nightmare Fredbear, or, well, Fredbear, in this case, is biting the child. However, this isn't the bite of 87. I would have a different image for this, but of course I couldn't find it, so here it is. Notice that the kid isn't being bitten on his forehead. He's being bitten while he's sideways. This means that if he had lost his frontal lobe here, he would have also lost both of his temples. I don't think he could have lived through that. And remember, Phone Guy said, it's amazing that somebody can live without a frontal lobe. They can live without the frontal lobe. Sure, they would have different things, like, in their mind, like, they possibly couldn't feel some emotions and stuff. They can't really feel a lot, really. And, well, yeah. Yes, the human body can survive without the frontal lobe. However, this kid, I don't think he could have. Because, of course, he's sideways. He's not having his forehead bitten, he's having the sides of his head bitten. The most notable thing I saw about Nightmare was that he has no temples. And, what did you see before, The kid was bitten sideways, on his temples, not his forehead. You might say, "Oh, Zell, that's just it's his forehead, it's just meant to show his face." Well, I know one thing, or two things about Scott Cawthon. One, he's an impatient bastard. The second, he doesn't do anything without reason. Let's take a look at this other image. It was extremely hard to find. Once again, I'm not kidding. Seriously, go look this up yourself. Try to find it. Try to find it where it doesn't have this good ending thing above it. Yeah. This image belongs to its, rightful owner on YouTube, who I could not find. I mean, I didn't try, but you know who you are. Just look at it. I guess. If you're even watching. Anyway, you'll notice that this kid is kneeling in front of his plushies, what he considers to be his best friends in the world, even though he's extremely afraid of anything having to do with Fredbear's Family Diner, or anything with Freddy Fazbear. Anything, really. Seriously. Fredbear will say things like, "We're still your friends. I'm so sorry. You're broken. And I'll put you back together." As the other plushies start to disappear. If you'll remember from one minigame, this kid meets the 5 murdered children. He does. I couldn't find an image of it, of course. Anyway, I believe these are their spirits in the form of plushies. This kid remembers them, or they're still speaking to him in his dreams, or through some sort of hallucination. I don't know. Something like that. And that's why he's not afraid of them. It's because he actually knows who they are. Back to what the Fredbear plushie said. "I'll put you back together." Put him back together as what? Exactly. Well, remember, Nightmare has both of his temples missing. Actually, he has a lot of things missing. You can look at him and you'll notice well, maybe not a human brain, but a brain, which I believe is the child's, is right where the brain would be, inside of this animatronic. I believe that on night 6, he has to come face to face with what he will become inside sort of a purgatory state, in what seems to be his own room. But really, it's purgatory. He actually passed away inside the hospital, because the last thing you hear in this little minigame slash cutscene is a flatline. The kid's dead. And remember, the phone guy said, it's amazing that the human body can survive, as in live, as in still alive. You get this? Survive without the frontal lobe. But, well, the kid's dead. And really, that's not the bite of 87. This kid died in 83. I would have a picture of this thing, but in a minigame, you can flip through the channels on a TV, and you will see, eventually, an advertisement for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza 1983. Toy animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's 2 have new technology in them. facial recognition, advanced mobility, and they can even walk around in the day, too. Even let them walk around in the day, too. Well, it's as if something happened before. You know, like a bite? Yes, this child is dead. And in 1987, there was another bite. In the last night, you can hear the phone guy say to Jeremy that they have one thing scheduled for tomorrow, a birthday. He tells him to stay close to the animatronics and to make sure they don't hurt anybody. I believe that on this day that the bite of 87 occurred. I'm pretty sure that it was Mangle, but that's for another video. We don't know who the real bite of 87 victim is. Not until this new DLC for Five Nights at Freddy's 4 come out. Anyway. Anyway, you'll notice that in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, in the minigames between the nights, you'll play as one of the animatronics, and you will follow Shadow/Purple Freddy. Purple Freddy will lead you to the purple guy, where he will dismantle you. However, some people think that this is simply the Purple Man in a Freddy costume. Well, if he had a Freddy costume, why would he need to jump into Springtrap? No. This is Nightmare, the child who was bitten by Fredbear, leading his friends to freedom. As soon as their animatronic bodies were disassembled, they were free to roam around as spirits. Somehow. And they scared their killer into the Springtrap outfit. Or, well, Spring Bonnie. Killing him. But maybe not. You'll notice that sometimes Springtrap will moan something like, "Help me." I don't think he's dead. In fact, when he was crushed inside of this suit, he should have died instantly, right? But no. He kept shaking around. And he started breathing heavily, even while he was on the ground and bleeding. He's still alive. Some supernatural force is keeping him alive. Something like the puppet, perhaps. This is why you can sometimes see Shadow Freddy sitting in the corner of your office. But some people say that it's just Golden Freddy, because they can brighten it up and see him. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Shadow Freddy isn't really a physical entity. I know I said that this child was put into the body of an animatronic, of Nightmare, but that's just his soul, in a form of an animatronic. And he's there to make sure that Springtrap has an eternity of suffering, of course. Marionette and Shadow Freddy are working together. And Shadow Freddy is using Golden Freddy as a physical entity to attach itself to. Because of course, if you've ever watched any of those, paranormal investigation shows of ghosts, like Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters, I don't own them, by the way, they belong to their respectful owners, you'll know that spirits need energy to do anything. And maybe Nightmare needs energy to do whatever he does. And maybe if he attaches himself to a physical entity, like the Golden Freddy suit, he will have enough energy to remain there and not disappear, so that he can't really, be away from Springtrap. Because he has something to attach himself to, so we'll always be watching. When you see those posters in the East Hall in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 of the crying children, this is probably the marionette, either him or Shadow Freddy, because they both are known for crying. I'm pretty sure it's the marionette, though, so he's probably stuck in there somewhere. The marionette is stuck in there well, he's there to watch over, his fellow murdered children. I also think that Shadow Freddy is there as well, making it possible for Golden Freddy, also known as Fredbear, that animatronic, to show itself as a hallucination, or some kind of apparition, projecting itself into the office, and scaring the crap out of Mike, and crashing his game. So he leaves on his jetpack. That's pretty much it for the story of Nightmare. However, there's one problem. There are still two characters that remain that we don't know anything about. Who is Shadow Bonnie? Who is the puppet's murderer? The pink guy? Maybe we'll find out in this upcoming DLC coming up on Halloween 2015. Or knowing Scott, probably in 5 seconds. Well, my two loving fans out there, thank you. And to anyone else watching this, if, you're even watching, become a Palace Cat today, if you wanna. This video was made possible and edited by Wondershare Filmora. Go to www.filmora. That's not what it says. Whatever, just read that. Yeah. Video's over, you can go now. Okay. Oh god, cat, no, stop.